Yes. Beck. Is that the name of the main robot in Mighty Number 9?
Yeah.
I see.
I think. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it is.
There's that blast from the past.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Can't believe I beat Mighty Number 9.
It's pretty cool, huh?
What did I have to gain?
It is just a boring game. It plays perfectly fine, but it is so boring.
Yeah. From what I've seen of it and whatnot, nothing really like struck me. I'm not a big fan of the absorption thing. Oh yeah, I remember that. Her head is so small.
So tiny.
Mighty Number 9's biggest flaw is just how boring the level design is. Like, there's no like secrets or any hidden stuff off on the side. It's literally just go and fight the boss, and that's it.
Yes, I remember the...
God, I remember that one too. Fucking Pal Comics.
Can we get Pal Comics on the podcast?
I mean, he has... I can probably get him. I spoke to him back when I was on
I can't
Funny.
read.
I can get BB and BBF. Let's see here.
Does he do stuff with his voice?
I don't think so. I think he...
Oh.
Yeah.
We just start collecting porn artists on the podcast.
I would love that.
Oh.
That could be a season 3 thing.
His latest.
Classic. Classic work.
Oh, excellent. Gross.
This is grosser than that.
Yeah. See, Steven reacted.
I don't know what the hell. There's a lot going on there at once.
This is bad podcast material. Me just showing things on my phone.
Here, I'll fix it. Come to Burger King and try the new Impossible Walker.
Walker?
The new Impossible Walker. Sponsored by Channel Awesome. 1 in 5 people will get a chance to meet the Doug Walker.
It's called the Impossible Walker because the money's going to change the channel.
What did we talk about earlier?
It'll never change the channel. It won't work.
1 in 10 people will win the right to watch Doug Walker smear his teeth with garlic to turn it progressively more yellow.
To what end? Why would he do that?
1 in 5 people will meet Rob Walker.
And that's it.
Those are such bad odds.
Rob Walker's met like over 1 billion people.
1 person will never see Malcolm again.
Just 1. I hope it's nobody important to him.
God, that's kills. Impossible Walker challenge. No one can escape.
That's enough of that.
Disclaimer! Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to find or mess with the authors featured on our podcast. They make what we do possible, and we love them. And you. Thanks. Enjoy.
Secrets that it did. Now he's got superpowers, he's no ordinary kid, he's Ben 10.
What is today's episode?
I don't know. What's your gag for the week?
Oh yeah. The gag of the week is trying to make a new Channel Awesome related joke.
Oh, okay.
We've been doing covertly very well so far for the last few months.
Can do. Let's see here.
We've already done it.
Oh, you're right.
Welcome to Crossing the Line, a fanfiction podcast where we read, review, and critique fanfiction for your listening pleasure. Ben 10.
Ooh.
Discuss.
Watched it when it was on Cartoon Network, and then it went into multiple different iterations, and I just fell out of it, really.
We've wrote a lot of Ben 10 related fan fiction here unintentionally, sometimes intentionally.
True.
Fan fiction creators love Ben 10. It's honestly probably one of the bigger ones. I didn't check how many stories have been crossed with it. Do you guys remember what the count was?
It was a
Over.
lot.
It was like over 1,000. It's like close to 2.
It's alright.
Mm.
So it's up there.
Pretty big standards.
Yeah. I watched the first season, probably most of it. I liked what they did with the movie and kind of made it like a...
The live action movie?
No. The one where he got to like see all the aliens
That's what I
briefly.
was thinking too.
And then it was over. And it was like, oh, it's kind of cool. Then they made more and more seasons of it. And
There was a 3D movie. I
yeah.
was trying to find the live action one to watch before this recording, but I couldn't find it.
That's
It wasn't on
interesting.
YouTube. It wasn't on the Watch Cartoon Online, whatever.
It's not a cartoon. I watched
They have the Ninja Turtles movies and like the new Lion King that just came out.
Yeah.
What?
They have like the new Lion King and the new Aladdin on that website.
Oh my god.
Sounds like a good website.
Hell yeah.
But
Hope we can get sponsored by them.
I watched some of the one where he was like an adult, but it was the same style or like a teen or something. But it was always like
Omniverse or whatever it was.
the second series. I don't know.
Alien Force.
Alright, Force, that's right.
It felt weird that he was like a teen and it was trying to be dark and edgy. It just didn't feel fun anymore.
And Kevin was a good guy.
Yeah.
7-Eleven.
Like, he like became a good guy in like the first series. It's just like it was very later on, so most people don't like realize it.
Oh, Kevin 11.
I actually like Kevin's story arc a lot. It's surprisingly decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was more mysterious and fun again when he was a kid, and it was like,
Mm.
I don't know.
Like
I
most
feel you.
things.
I feel you. I don't like new Kevin 11 in the Chibi showed though. He has his own omnitrix.
What?
Yeah, he has like a red omnitrix.
That's illegal.
It is dumb.
Elias, tell Steven about the Ben 10 character you learned about today.
Let me pull him up. Is Albedo.
Oh my god, I was like looking through fanfics and that name came up a lot. Tell me who that is.
It's Nega Ben 10.
Okay,
That
makes sense.
He has like red eyes and gray hair. He's just a color swap version of Ben 10, but he's like an alien who tried to clone Ben 10 so he could use the Omnitrix.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he just looks like a DeviantArt fan creation.
He does. He doesn't even have like a fully inverted color scheme. He just has like random colors.
He's red and black instead of green and black.
Right.
Like most characters in Ben 10.
His name is so funny. It's Albedo.
Yeah, like the only albedo I know is friggin' what's her name? The one demon from Overlord.
I don't know. I only watched for like first episode of that.
Mm.
But Albedo is the former assistant of Azimuth, the Omnitrix's creator, and an antagonist from the Ben 10 series.
Yay.
That's a threatening antagonist.
Here, I'll play 1 second of his voice over YouTube on my phone.
Oh no.
Hold on, I got a survey.
I like this guy. I almost feel bad for what we have to do to him.
That was Albedo, which sounds like the voice actor for Ben 10 trying to do a weird voice.
I hope he got bullied.
That's like Sora and Vanitas.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Love me some Albedo. Anyways, George, what do you think of Ben 10?
Ben 10 is so cool. I remember there was an episode where they went to Jacksonville, Florida to find the Fountain of Youth.
Is that real?
Yeah.
It's not even where that is.
Yeah.
Jacksonville is like the scummy inner city of Florida and not where the Fountain of Youth is. Why would they go there?
That's the only place Max could afford to drive to.
You think Max is gonna go to St. Augustine?
Yeah, way.
Fun fact about the Fountain of Youth, the person who like made it a tourist attraction maybe 10 or so years ago, maybe more, he moved it. Now it's somewhere else.
Really?
He moved the Fountain of Youth,
Interesting.
which is like that shouldn't be
I was
possible.
about to say, how do you move a fucking... What the hell?
It just cemented the fact that it was a tourist attraction and had no value.
Right.
But it is a thing in St. Augustine.
moved the fountain of youth. I moved this body of fucking water.
I remember hearing this, like the fountain of youth moved. I was like, how does it move? Where did you move it to? Like across the street or?
A body of water?
Yeah.
This fucking X-Files man with his shades. Oh,
He moved all the water somewhere else. It still works. It's
Maybe
still in a fountain.
Maybe it's an Emerald Island situation.
He floated it away.
There's a master emerald lying in the fountain of youth.
It's one old rich white man guarding the giant crystal.
Rocket power youth bandits.
Angel Island, not Emerald Island.
Oh yeah. Did you say Emerald Island? I thought you said Angel Island.
No, I said Emerald Island.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you hear a lot of jingling, it's the cat again. It's got a bell on its neck because it's small and we don't want to lose it.
It's our fourth host, Magnus.
Yes.
Ruler of all things.
Magnus the
loud.
cat.
Hell yeah.
He bangs around. He bangs around and chews on the cords sometimes.
His official name is Magnus Catsides.
Hell yeah.
I can't believe the cat Magnus just said that.
Every time he looks straight into my eyes, he like flattens himself against the floor. See? Right there.
It's a strength stance. He also chases his tail.
Aww.
Pretty sure I haven't gone first in a while, and I've already got mine pulled up, so I'm
Good.
gonna go ahead and take the reins.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna plug mine into the charger.
Okay.
What's everyone's favorite Ben 10 character?
Alien or character?
Just character in general. It can be anyone. I guess Alien would narrow it down better. Everyone's favorite character would end up being Max anyway.
That's true.
I like all the original designs,
Mm.
but I like Grandpa. Is it Grandpa Ben?
Grandpa Max.
Grandpa
Yeah.
Max. I like Grandpa Max. He's not an alien, but I like him.
He's a plumber.
He's cool.
And I don't remember most of the aliens' names for whatever reason right now, but trait-wise, I like all the original ones a lot. I like the
Wait,
fire.
let's try to name all 10 original aliens.
Okay.
Let's see here. Gray Matter, Cannon Blast.
Nope.
Oh, it wasn't he?
Cannonball, right?
Cannonball was 11.
Oh, that's right. He was the one he
Yeah.
got later on. That's right. Okay. So then there's, God, what's the dog one called?
Dogface.
It's something dumb
Mutt.
like
Mutt.
Mutt something. Mutt.
Mutt mouth.
Mutt.
Something stupid like Dogface or Mutt.
What? I want an omni.
the weird hair.
Do not turn this into a Fat Albert Omnitrix.
Watch this. This is opposite with the Baba. It's Cosby Kid time.
Oh my god. The Cosby.
I don't know what to do.
None of the Cosby kids are good alone. They're all like you can't have any of them all like alone singly.
They're all incompetent in their own ways.
They have to function as a unit. Anyways, you had how many? Keep going.
Like one.
Let's see.
We had Gray Matter and the dog.
Gray Matter, the dog,
Accelerate.
Accelerate, Hothead.
Stinkfly.
Diamond Head.
There's how many is that?
6.
I think we were up to 4.
No.
Oh, it's
6. You're right. Let's see here.
there's the ghost face. I'm gonna say face on everything.
Ghostface.
So.
There's Diamond, Fire, Ghost, Accelerate,
Forearms.
Forearms,
Right.
the dog, Gray Matter. There's like the cyber one.
Upgrade.
Upgrade.
Oh, that's right.
Stinkfly.
Yeah, we said that. Let's see.
Okay.
What's the fire one?
Hothead. Or
Hothead.
whatever. We got him.
Yeah. There's 2 more.
This is so hard.
Damn. This is the best podcast we'll get. Comment all 10 aliens from memory.
I'm sure the other 2 aren't important and won't matter anyways.
It's true.
The other 2 got wiped off as omnitrix.
And it got confusing when he started getting more than 10.
Yeah.
Your Cannonball
yeah.
and
Look it up.
The
I want to see what
multiplier
we're
one.
forgetting.
Let's see here.
who else did he have in the original season? I remember like the movie ended with him with that giant one
Oh yeah.
that punched Vilgax.
Oh, that's right.
I don't remember that one like God alien that was in the Mr. Rajput meme video we watched. It's like
Oh yeah. Shout out to Mr. Rajput or
Let's
whatever
see
his
here.
name is.
Heat Blast, Wild
Blast.
Mutt. Let's see here. Diamond Head,
Got it.
Crystal Fist,
what?
There-
Is that not
Gray
is that-
Matter. Let's see here. Let me
hold
look for a specific list.
I don't think there's also a Crystal Fist, at least in the original.
Yeah, let's see
Look at
here.
the original. This is very important.
Heat Blast, Wild Mutt, Diamond Head, Accelerate,
Yep.
Gray Matter, Forearms, Stingfly, Rip Jaws.
Which one's Ripjaws?
Rip Jaws? Which one is Rip Jaws? Accelerate, Gray Matter, Forearms, Quack. Oh, it's Stingfly. That's his. Yeah. Rip Jaws. Upgrade. Ghost Freak.
Ghost Freak.
Cannon Bolt. Wild
Oh,
Vine.
yeah, you're in the...
Oh, Wildvine.
Okay, now we're past.
Yeah, Cannonbolt marks number 11.
Yeah.
Is Wildvine like 12?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Wildvine, then there was like the werewolf one, I think.
Spitter, Thornblade, Buzzshock, Arctiguana.
Arctiguana.
Blitzwolfer.
Yeah. Snarrow.
These ones suck. Go back.
Frankenstrike. Upchuck. Ditto.
Chuck.
Eye Guy. I like that. Way big. Okay, that's enough of that.
So which one's Ripjaw?
I don't know. Oh, he looks cool.
Oh, yeah, I remember him now.
Yeah, he looks really neat. I like
Oh
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember him super well, but I do remember that.
Mm.
I think
He's like a fish-looking guy.
We had counted
Yeah.
wrong earlier, so we had everybody but Ripjaws.
Okay.
I'm looking at the pictures now, and this really low-res picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it makes sense to be a water one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. But I was just thinking, like, it's got to be like a blue thing, right? If it's a water one, but no. That's got to be, like, least used form.
Yeah, I barely remember that one. Let's see here. My favorite of them is still Gray Matter. I just like the...
You can do horny things with his power.
Well, yeah, but then just like I like his design. He's more like a traditional alien, and the aesthetic fit it really well. And I like the white and black like outfit he's in.
Gray
Yeah.
Matter invented the You Laugh, You Lose challenge.
You did? Oh shit.
I like that he has like backstory aliens in the show. Like that the creator of the Omnitrix was a Gray Matter alien. That ties it in nicely.
There was a Lady Vilgax.
Yes. Now that was fan service.
Oh yeah.
Grandpa Max is all man. He's his own man.
Grandpa Max is one of the aliens.
He's a plumber.
It's hero time.
He plunges the aliens.
I wish there was an episode where he had the Omnitrix.
I'm sure there was.
I wish there was an episode where he didn't have the Omnitrix.
It's all of them.
He has too much power.
That's like 3 shows. Alright, George, you go ahead, my dude.
Okay, I will do that. Planet Cold, a world that is not really as cold as its name makes it seem, at least not for the first few months of the year. Many months of the year, this planet is plagued by violent winters that can cause Earth's equivalent to a planet-wide ice age. But all of this freezing temperature, ice and snow, has helped the planet's inhabitants to develop a powerful tolerance to frigid temperatures. This planet is the home of a race of humanoid lizards called ice djinns. Their power varies between individuals of their race, but every single member of the race has the power to transform into different forms. They do this to the fact that each individual is born with an insanely high power level, and the stronger they get, the more power a new form has to suppress. The ice djinns are a people of combat, but have a natural thirst for battle. And currently, we find 2 members of this race's royal family in the recovery ward of their medical facility. They were currently celebrating the birth of their first child, an heir to the royal family. The first member of the family was a male. He had white, armor-like skin on his body, purple jewels on his head, chest, and shoulders. He had light purple skin, red eyes, and dark lips. He also had sharp black horns sticking out of the sides of his head and a long prehensile tail. His feet had 3 finger-like toes, and his hands had 5 humanoid fingers. He wore an odd battle jacket and a pair of black shorts.
I thought he was like freshly born.
No, he's not talking about the baby. He's talking about the man who's happy to have a baby.
Okay. I got you.
I was like, this child has a battle jacket.
Laying in the hospital bed with her back propped up against the headboard with a pillow was the man's wife. She was actually in her true form so that she could withstand the strain of birthing, and was indeed very beautiful. She had bright pink skin, dark purple armor-like skin on her upper shoulders, head, forearms, and chins. The jewels that covered her body were located on her head, shoulders, forearms, and calves, and her tail was thinner than her husband's. Also, her body had a more feminine build while still having a bit of visible muscles on her arms. She also had a more humanoid appearance, also lacking the 3 opposable toes that the males have, instead having feet and toes that are more like the human females. The white armor on her head also had 6 blunt spikes that pointed backward on each side of her head. Cradled lovingly in her arms was a small child wrapped in a blue blanket. It was an infant of the Icegen race that was obviously a male. His skin was more of a cross between the colors of his parents and more of a lavender color, and the armor parts of his body were still white. However, the jeweled parts of his body were an emerald green color. He was currently sleeping while sucking on the tip of his tail, just enjoying the warmth of his mother's touch.
These creatures are so like crazy looking.
Right.
They got armor and scales and jewels.
Battle jackets.
Frieza, isn't he beautiful? Asked the Icegen female.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, that explains it.
I had a feeling. The minute you said Planet Cold, I kind of friggin'.
Oh, I didn't realize you said Planet Cold. That would have given it away. I was just like, these creatures. They were like lizard people.
Icegen. This is some like Dragon Ball AF, like fanfic. The male, Frieza, merely smiled as tears of pride and happiness welled up in his eyes. He had wanted a child of his own ever since he had married his wife, Sub-Zero, and now finally had a son.
Female Sub-Zero?
Whoa.
He is indeed a very handsome young lad, Sub-Zero, my beautiful queen. But what shall we call him? Frieza asked. Well, I was thinking that we could perhaps name him Ben, Sub-Zero said.
Just Ben, said Sub-Zero.
Ben, what the
That's a pretty plain name, honestly.
I'm divorcing you.
He shoots her with his finger.
No, he will be named Frieza 2.
Frieza 2, the sequel to Frieza. Frieza put a hand to his chin as he thought about it. Normally, Icegens were named after something having to do with the cold, but he'd be lying to himself if he said he didn't like the name Ben. Besides, individuality was a very rare thing in this day and age.
Well, he's an honest man.
Prince Cold Ben. Ben Cold. Prince Ben Cold.
It's like a joke name. He's Ben
Sounds
Cold.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Alright, Ben it is, Frieza said. The doctor wrote down the name on a birth certificate and left a room to give the new family some privacy. Little did they know that this child would one day grow up to be the most powerful of his people. Those are some bold claims.
Most powerful of those people. Frieza would not. Said Frieza would never allow that. No, you're too powerful.
Stop, Ben, please.
Chapter 2, Childhood Antics. It's been 4 years since the birth of Prince Ben Cold, and things had become very lively around the palace. But then, one couldn't help but smile at the young prince's childhood innocence, especially when he managed to outfly his babysitters, the Ginyu Force. Hey, get back here! Never! Ben had changed a little bit in the past 4 years. His horns had begun to grow in, but were more curved like bull horns. He also had a small black spike growing out of each shoulder, and he was about half as tall as his father in his first form. But he was also a little ball of energy. He never stayed in one place too long, and was even worse when giving something like that soy-based food on Earth called tofu. It really made the child go loopy for some reason. But right now, Ginyu and his crew were stuck trying to catch the crazy young prince. Ginyu sighed for what seemed like the 50th time that after this, Ben looped over his head and flew off to another part of the palace.
The 50th time.
I hate this job.
I hate this kid.
Aye, is this really what we've been reduced to, Captain? Glorified babysitters for this royal obnoxiousness? Asked the reddish-orange humanoid member of the Ginyu Force known as Jice. I'll say, he's faster than better, and that's saying something, Goldo added.
The fastest man in the universe.
That hurts.
That does hurt.
Hey, come on, guys, it ain't all bad. A hulking big humanoid named Raccoon said in an attempt to lighten the mood. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The other 4 members of the Ginyu Force just started arguing over whose fault it was that they were stuck with this job. Raccoon just silently shrugged as he faced the audience and flew off in search of the young prince. He didn't have to go far as he came upon an adorable sight. The young prince was asleep, sunning himself by a window, and just like when he was a baby, he was sucking on the tip of his tail as he slept. Raccoon couldn't help but daw at the sight. Shh, Raccoon said to the audience. He then silently picked up the young prince, being extremely careful not to wake him, and flew off to where the queen was. He knew that young Ben would have a better nap if his mother was there with him. As for the rest of the Ginyu Force, well, they were all staring in shock at how easily Raccoon had caught the little troublemaker. But no one could possibly predict that one of their own was on his way to Planet Cold with one goal in mind: planet-wide genocide of the entire Ice Jin race,
Oh my
and the
God.
assailant, a member of the Ice Jin royal family. And here's an author's note. Not much, I know, but I need to think of how exactly the destruction of Planet Cold should happen. Don't worry.
Didn't think about that before you set it up.
But don't worry, it'll be good. And I've already decided on a form that Ben will prefer to stay in concerns to his
Stay
Ice
in.
Jin transformations. In the next chapter of the Kami's adventures of the Kami's avatar of the Omniverse is still a work in progress. And that's it.
Yay!
So he never figured out how to destroy Planet Cold, so he gave up.
How long ago was it written?
Let me see. I lost that. Hold on.
Okay, it's okay.
Last updated October 10th, 2015.
Okay. 4 years later. Let's go.
I hope he comes back. Let's see. His last,
He's just really, he really wants it to be worth it.
he updated his latest story yesterday, or 2
Yesterday.
days ago,
Oh.
was his latest update.
Oof, some of these are pretty long.
He wrote a Ben 10 Dragon Ball Z crossover last week.
Oh, wow.
Albino 10, Battles of Dragon Ball.
Albino.
You were saying that. Do they just call people like albino?
Let's see here. I got my photo.
Dude, rate it!
Oh, okay.
This is episode 40. You should know how to do this job by now.
I rate. Let's see here. I rate that a delayed mass genocide out of 10.
That's pretty good.
I I rate that Jace turning to the camera and shrugging his shoulders when asked to give a rating out of 10.
Well.
Looks you in the eye.
I rate that a speed faster than Berter out of 10.
Baby Benton.
Berter didn't even get a line. I was excited. I wanted to do Berter's voice.
He was too afraid of Ben's speed.
He's so funny. He's just a big snake man.
Yes.
I love Snake Man.
I know you do.
Alright.
You guys want to cosplay the Ginyu Force?
Okay.
I mean, they all wear the same outfit.
Hell yeah.
I can just...
Who can be who? So you can be Raccoon.
I'm not buff enough to be Raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to be Ginyu or Berter.
Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know who I'd be. Don't know.
Probably Raccoon.
Oh, okay.
Elias, who would you be? Joyce?
They're all so funny. It's hard to decide.
You need so much red. Jeez.
I'll be
You
Goldo.
would need so much color to be anybody.
I'll just be Goldo and get big funny eyes to put on my forehead.
Small, squat figure.
I'll close my eyes and spray paint my head green.
Spray.
It's the easiest way. Shave my head. Get big bumps on my forehead.
The mystery machine pulled up to the town of Bellwood where they heard reports of several unusual creatures roaming around inside. Be on your toes, gang, Fred said. Whatever kind of monsters are looking around, we gotta be ready for anything. Velma's eyes grew behind her glasses when she saw something strange. Fred, stop the van! The mystery machine screeched to a hard halt. What's the deal, Velma? Daphne said. I just got my hair the way I like it. I saw...
As if stopping the van does anything about that.
Right.
What the fuck, Daphne?
I saw a green light in that warehouse over there. Velma pointed to a dilapidated building.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I think that's where we'll find these monsters. Shaggy gulped.
They're gonna arrest Ben.
He's gonna turn into forearms and fight all of them.
Shaggy gulped. Great, we just pulled into town and already we found a monster lead. Could our lives get any worse?
I love your Shaggy impression.
Don't think like that, Shaggy. What we do as mystery solvers benefits the good of humanity.
What we do by coming into this town and arresting strangers benefits the good of humanity.
Somebody's gotta do it, Shaggy.
We're the authority, Shaggy, and no one holds us back.
What else are you gonna do, Shaggy, with your no education?
Holding his job above his head. Oh my god.
Where would you go?
You can't make it out there, Norville. And now I suggest you get back in the back of the van and keep teaching that dog how to bite at dicks.
Go eat a damn dog tree, you little stoner.
Like I don't like being treated like this, man.
The doors are locked, Shaggy.
You bring that stupid dog over here and help us catch a criminal.
There's a reason you ride in the back, you mooch. Stop it,
Shaggy said nothing mean. Being gaslighted.
They're all so insecure about this job they take on that they just snap at any point.
Obviously, they're a little in the red, and the mystery machine needs work done.
True.
So they've got to find crime stat. They've got to find a ghost to solve.
It has been since the 60s, you're right.
Don Knotts ain't helping them anymore.
He can't help anyone anymore. Stopping criminal masterminds with their rubber masks and elaborate hoaxes makes us the heroes we are today. Like Fred, we're not heroes. We're just a bunch of meddling kids that end up stumbling into monster-filled mysteries.
Fred is gonna kill him.
Fred takes off his belt and ascot.
He ties his ascot around his fucking fist. Punches the window to push Shaggy out.
Shoves Shaggy's head through the back window.
We just end up stumbling into monster-filled mysteries like it's a curse or something. Well, you two better buck up, because here we are, Velma said.
They just leave him.
The van came up to the old warehouse. They got out, and Fred took out his flashlight. Alright, gang, let's split up and look for clues. Got it, Shaggy deadpanned. Daphne put her hands on her hips. You could drop the attitude, Shaggy. We came this far, didn't we? Alright, Shaggy sighed. Scoob and I will go in and eventually run into the monster like we always do. Despite Shaggy's attitude, the gang went their separate ways and looked for clues.
They just saw a green light. That could be anything. This could be someone's house.
They know mysteries.
They're on private property.
They always are.
No one asked them to come here. They just pulled over. Velma screamed, "Stop the van!" There's a light.
They'll take anything. They're desperate for clues.
They're desperate for mystery solving.
They're desperate to validate this life they live that they drugged Shaggy into.
Fred keeps pulling at his collar as they're driving down the road. Scratching his neck.
I tell you, Scoob, our lives have hit rock bottom, Shaggy said. How do we always get ourselves into these messes? Surgery, Scooby said. There's
What?
You heard him.
Surgery.
No. You can only correct him in the Scooby voice.
There's gotta be a better life than Shaggy sniffed, then his face crinkled. What's that smell?
Face crinkled. His face had the warp tool on it.
His face looks like that Chinese Patrick image.
You mean the curse one?
Google curse Chinese Patrick.
Don't do it, you'll get cursed. For real.
Oh my god. Scooby caught a whiff of the awful odor. He coughed and gagged. My nose feels like it's on fire.
The dog coughing.
How are you? Oh my god. Who are you two? A deep nasally voice said. When the owner of the voice came into view, Shaggy and Scooby had that familiar feeling of fear. Monster! Scooby screamed. The monster was tall and green with a red and yellow face that resembled fire. His bright green eyes widened at Scooby. A talking dog? Run for it, Scoob! Shaggy screamed. They turned to run away, but a wall of vines blocked the way.
Oh.
You're not going anywhere. The monster growled, menacing towards them. Shaggy was horrified. This was one of the strangest and smelliest monsters he's ever seen. Shaggy, you better tell that to his face.
Like you're one of the scariest and smelliest monsters I've ever seen.
Smelly.
You stink. Smell. Ugh. Like I've had it up to here with your stink.
But he had to protect his best pal Scooby. Spotting a nearby pipe, he grabbed it and swung it right at the monster.
He grabbed it and lit up.
His bravery. A nearby pipe.
He's stressed out. He needed to
there, pre-filled with weed. Pre-filled with bong water.
just set right up. However, Shaggy's weapon was stuck inside the monster. That tickles, the monster tittered. Shaggy gagged. I think I'm gonna be sick. The monster tried to The monster tried to pull a pipe out, but when he pulled, he laughed and let go. What's already? Scooby asked. Well, when I try to get this thing out, it just tickles even more, said the monster. Like, wow, I've never seen a ticklish monster before, Shaggy said. Can you help get this out of me? You swung it in me pretty hard.
Shaggy was going for blood. He was gonna save his dog if it's the last thing he did.
He was not gonna let the last thing he heard be Fred reprimanding him for his life choices. Scooby and Shaggy looked at each other and shrugged. Sure. The boys took hold of the pipe and started to pull. The green, gross-smelling creature started to crack up.
I cannot
really
tell
tickled.
what Ben 10 creature this is.
I think it's like the one that like Kevin 11 where he had a bunch of different stuff on him. Because it said he was like green-bodied, but he had a fire head.
True. I don't know.
I don't think that's what the one looks like though.
Yeah, Kevin 11 had like a stink fly head. Let's see here. The monster laughed and squirmed, swinging around Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. Oh, easy, Shaggy said, holding on tight. Scooby howled with agreement. The sound of laughter caught Fred, Daphne, and Velma's attention. They rushed to the source of the commotion and got the biggest shock of their lives. What is that thing? Fred exclaimed. Daphne gagged. It smells like something died and caught fire. I think it's methane, Velma deduced, holding her nose.
Do not start any fires.
At last, Scooby and Shaggy removed the pipe. The monster laughed some more and a green light washed over him. A teenage boy with brown hair stood in his place.
It's really good they got that pipe out of him.
Ben's fucked. He's got to deal with like 5 adults now. What the? Daphne gasped. Where'd that kid come from? Shaggy said. Relax, it's still me, the boy said. Thanks for the help. Daphne took a few steps towards him. Ben? Is that you?
Fuck.
Ben turned around. Daphne? Daphne went to Ben and grabbed his shoulders. I can't believe it's really you. She hugged him. Okay, now I'm more confused than I've ever been in my life. Shaggy wailed. What is going on here? Everyone, this is my brother, Ben.
That's not true!
Daphne introduced. The gang paused. Brother? Ben nodded. Yeah, we grew up in the same orphanage.
Shaggy?
That's not true!
That's not.
Daphne's rich!
Daphne's dad is the one who pays for all their exploits.
Daphne's dad's the person who pays for the orphanage.
Pays for her daughter to be an orphan. His daughter.
Daphne's dad is Watari.
You never told us you were an orphan, Daph, Shaggy said. Daphne looked
He's
sad.
the next crime solver. D.
Daphne looked sad.
Where's that crossover?
Yeah, I thought it wasn't worth mentioning. You see, Ben and I would play with each other all the time, so we made ourselves brother and sister.
How'd you do that, Daphne?
They traded sake cups.
We would do all kinds of stuff. Play games, tell stories, sneak into the kitchen for cookies, you name it, we
Play
did
doctor.
it. Oh no. But when it was
Wait,
time
how big's the age gap there?
That's a good
Daphne's
question.
like 16 probably?
Somewhere in there.
16 to 18 I'd say.
Mm.
Ben is forever 10.
I thought she was older. Daphne seems like she's like early 20s.
It depends.
I don't know.
It depends on the timeline. Like when they began, they were like high school age, but like I think currently, yeah, they're like 18 or older.
Well, it's because they're always called meddling kids.
Right.
So I assume they weren't adults yet, but obviously Fred can drive.
Mm.
So they're at least that 16.
Yeah.
Shaggy is who knows how old.
Shaggy is easily in his early 40s.
Shaggy's like. I was about to say the same thing. Shaggy's like friggin' Dan Avidan and Aaron Hansen. He's just supremely old, but he doesn't look it.
McLauer and the Sleepy Cabin Crew.
But when it was time for adoption, the Blakes took Daphne, but they didn't want me.
Gee, I wonder why.
It broke my heart when Ben couldn't come with me. Daphne ruffled her hair. Are you doing okay? Yeah, I've been adopted by the best family in the world, Ben said. But what was that crazy monster you were before? Shaggy said.
Thank you.
Velma looked at her friend. You mean you don't know Shaggy? Velma, fuck off!
Since when do you know, Velma?
Velma's the smart one. She knows all about
She
Ben
doesn't
10.
know shit. She looked it up on her phone during a scuffle.
You mean you don't know, idiot?
You stupid idiot, Shaggy. That's Ben
Are you
10.
Are you stupid, Shaggy? Is that what's the matter with you?
You know anything, Shaggy? Come on.
I've seen you kiss your dog, Shaggy. I don't approve of it.
First the shit earlier now, Shaggy. What's the matter?
You're out.
Ben, you're in.
Like, stop threatening my job. I didn't do anything.
We're taking your dog, Shaggy, and replacing you with Ben. How's that feel?
I can't go back to welfare, man. They won't let me. I tried.
We have your welfare, Shaggy. It was in our agreement.
We have your welfare.
You can't just claim somebody's welfare.
Fred signed his name on all of the welfare checks.
It means Fred's on welfare.
Exactly. He
I
collects.
won't let you have a single bit of my welfare, Shaggy.
I'm very poor, Shaggy. You would never know.
The taxpayers are the ones helping us.
The taxpayers are really solving these mysteries.
Where would we be without taxes?
You're awfully selfish, Shaggy, insinuating that I don't need this money, that it's rightfully yours.
Scooby-Doo is so funny.
We really did stumble into a fucking rabbit hole, don't we? Let's see here. You mean you don't know Shaggy? He's Ben Tennyson. Ben held up his wrist. Yeah, I have this device called the omnitrix. It turns me into all kinds of different aliens. Aliens? Shaggy said nervously. Yeah, I'm pretty much a world-famous superhero now. I just came here on routine patrol, that's all. Especially since this used to be a forever night warehouse. Ben checked the time. Well, I should be off duty now. How about we go get some chili fries?
Off duty?
Chili
Is he
fries!
not 10?
What is he
I
doing?
guess not. This must be like Alien Force or something. Chili fries! Shaggy licked his lips. Ben, now you're speaking my lingo. We're in! Just ignores all of this hell he's going through for the food.
Says, you're
can't
paying
afford
for
it."
chili fries? Alright.
Now you're speaking my lingo.
Ben says, hold on, I didn't say I was paying for them.
Gee, thanks, pal!
Don't you remember when your old pal Shaggy helped you pull that eye out of you? That's gotta be worth a few chili
You
fries.
can just call me brother.
Daphne says, hold on.
A drink to
That's
our
right,
connection.
That's right, Daphne. I'm your brother now. Go get you. Now take this $40 and go get your brother some Mary J.
He doesn't have money for food, but he has $40 for weed.
Yeah, he doesn't have money for food, just his pot.
Go get some Mary Jane. Go out there and find it. It's out there in this town we rolled up in.
I need.
Trust me.
I
Green just lights up the windows in this place.
You know I can't have my chili fries without my 30 G's, man.
Let's see.
In a town where the houses just light up in green, you know they're hitting it up.
What was Ben 10 doing? What was he on duty doing?
Why was he an alien? Now he's in cooldown mode. What if an actual threat happened?
Right.
Stupid.
Well, looks like we didn't have a mystery to solve after all, Fred said as the gang hopped in the van. Daphne looked in the back and saw Ben giving Scooby a belly rub.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no. Like I ain't comfortable. Well, if you ask me, Shaggy and Scooby solved the mystery all by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Yay!
That was like more of us improv than the actual story.
That was great. Oh my god.
How long can Ben stay in alien form?
10
10
minutes.
minutes.
Okay. I rate that 10 minutes out of an 8-hour night shift in alien form.
I rate that 30 grams of chili fries.
I read that very strained friendship becoming progressively more strained with the inclusion of yet another member. Out of 10.
A much more
It's okay, they're brothers. They're brother and sister, I mean.
They drank the sake cups, it's official.
Like Daphne, does this mean I get to go to your house for Christmas, man?
I love you, rich people Christmas. I can't wait to be a part of it.
Oh, well, would you look at all this food that I get to eat?
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Santa.
As he's loading up his plate.
Well, only one of my stories is reasonably long, but a couple other ones are really good. I guess I'll read the reasonably long one. There's so many Ben 10 fan fictions that are so long.
Yeah.
Like 8 of the 10 ones I wanted to read were like 10k plus, and they're just like about nothing. Like, but there was also like a 200,000 word one. I remember what it was. I told you, George. Something stupid.
It was. What was it?
There was a lot of Loud House ones that were very long, I agree.
It was one of like the very bottom barrel, like one crossover.
Right.
God, what was it? It's not important, I promise you that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna skip the intro because it gives it away, and hopefully it doesn't do this too quick. In Bellwood, we find ourselves in Plumber's Base with 2 people. One of them was an old man with gray hair and squinty eyes. He was wearing a red and yellow flower shirt, a pair of khakis, and a pair of brown shoes. Walking next to him was a teenage boy that looked to be about 17. He had messy brown hair, green eyes, and pale skin. He wore a black t-shirt, brown cargo pants, and a pair of green and white sneakers.
Shaggy?
Around his wrist was a device known as the omnitrix.
Oh.
This version of the omnitrix looked like a very sleek wristwatch. It had a white band with a square faceplate. The faceplate was black and had 2 green lines that formed an hourglass on it.
This version of the Omnitrix? Did
These...
you finally learn how to take it off?
You learned how to make it look stylish. These 2 are Magister Maxwell Tennyson and his grandson Ben Tennyson. But why are they moving to an airstrip instead of fighting aliens? Vacation? Or, vacation? You guys honestly want me to take a vacation? Ben asked. That's right, Ben. You've been fighting these alien threats for a full year with no rest. You need to unwind and take a load off for a while, Max replied.
Total Drama Island. This Ben 10 alien force poorly chroma keyed over the intro. They put Grandpa Max over Chef.
Yeah, good chef. Who would be the announcer?
Chris McLean?
Yeah.
Chris McLean. He's irreplaceable.
Okay, you're right. I was trying to take a sip of water, but I guess I
Except-
won't.
Except for when like season 4 when they replaced him.
Right.
But that was a bad time. I can't imagine watching that show without him.
And he was right about Ben needing a vacation. The poor boy looked like he'd seen better days. His hair was mess. His eyes were bloodshot, puffy, and had bags under them from lack of sleep. And a close-up reveals that even his bags have bags. But Ben wasn't so sure about this. If he wasn't protecting Bellwood, then who would? Not that he doesn't have faith in the plumbers he works with. Well, maybe not Blukick and Dribba. But he had no time to ponder this anymore, as they had arrived at the airstrip. Ben's eyes widened at who he saw there. The first one appeared to be a small humanoid mushroom. He had a brown head that had beige spots on it, and was wearing a brown vest. a pair of glasses, and was holding a walking stick.
I was gonna make a joke about plumbers, but
He also had a gray mustache, showing that he was an elderly man.
they beat me to it.
The second one looked to be a human girl about 3 years older than Ben. She had long blonde hair that was currently
She looked
tied
exactly 20.
into a ponytail, crystal blue eyes, and a porcelain skin. She had pink lipstick on and was wearing a sleeveless pink dress and blue earrings. She was also wearing a crown on her head. Ben, these two are residents of the far-off Mushroom Kingdom. The small, elderly mushroom man is Toadsworth, and the woman beside him is Princess Toadstool Peach, Max introduced. You'll be joining them on their vacation to Isle Delfino. The princess curtsied in greeting to the young plumber,
The Princess Toadstool Peach.
and Ben bowed back as a symbol of respect. He would admit that the princess was indeed beautiful, but he knew she probably already had a suitor. Besides, what would she possibly see in a commoner like him? Little did they know that
Commoner Ben 10.
Oh jeez. Little did they know a certain inverted clone of Ben was on Isle Delfino right now, and as we speak, he's wreaking a kind of havoc not seen in many generations on the island paradise.
Choose another one.
No, I haven't got to the island yet.
Clone watermark Ben 10.
It's gonna be Galdino. Or whatever. Are you sure you...
Galdino? Mr. 3?
That's like such a Galdino.
What is wrong with you?
Hold on. Not Galdino.
This story sucks. Switch it.
Not to the part yet.
You can never say Galdino ever again. Only I get to say Galdino.
Hold on. What's the guy's name? It's Albedo. I meant Albedo. Negative Ben 10.
Ben negative 10.
They were about halfway to their intended destination, and Ben was actually starting to relax for the first time in a year now. Of course, the fact that the seats on the princess's private jet were comfy massage chairs did help. Those things were getting rid of knots in the boy's muscles he didn't even know he had. Thank you for your concern, your highness, but I'm fine, really, Ben replied. In fact, I think I'm finally beginning to lose a few of the bags under my eyes.
Just a few of them.
That's good to hear, and please just call me Peach. I have never been one for formalities, Peach requested. To her surprise, rather than getting flustered, Ben released a sigh of relief at this information. This confused the princess until she heard what her guest had to say. Oh, thank God. You have no idea how relieved I am to hear that, Ben said with a silly grin on his face.
Ben blasted ass in the vibrating chair.
And if you want me to call you by your real name, then just call me Ben. Mr. Tennyson makes me sound older than I really am. I thought you were like those other royals I've had to deal with in the past who demand respect from everyone they come across, even if it isn't their own race. I'm glad you're the opposite. I'm glad you're the opposite of what they are.
I think you should just skate by that, sir.
Ben's been to some rough lands. Ben saved Syria.
Peach giggled a bit from what Ben had said. She honestly couldn't help herself. There was something about him that just made him so easy to get along with. Even Toadsworth chuckled on his way back to his seat. The three of them patiently waited to arrive at their chosen vacation destination. It was going to be nice. Relaxing stay in the dolphin-shaped island that their viewing screen was showing. That's when a chime began to play as a strange object appeared on the screen. It looked like a golden-colored sun with two black eyes on it. It shone brightly and really caught the attention of our three vacationers. Oh, look at that, Peach said in awe. Tropical music began to play as a video showing some of the locals appeared on the screen. They were some strange-looking individuals, to say the least. They looked like portly humanoids with big noses, like proboscis monkeys. Beady black eyes, no visible mouths, and what looked like tiny trees growing on top of their heads.
Proboscis monkeys.
Welcome to the always sunny shores of Isle Delfino. Here you can experience the full pleasures of our peaceful lifestyle with our beautiful scenery, white sandy beaches, amusement parks, as well as sample some of our local delicacies. As the video played, it showed everything the island had to offer. Things like the beaches, luau's, and even an amusement park. Suffice it to say, Toadsworth got pretty excited without arriving on this island. Ben was excited too, but he was still too tired to show it. So, have a safe landing and we hope you enjoy your stay. That was.
Toadsworth hasn't said a word.
He enjoyed some stuff. He keeps saying Toadsworth laughed or enjoyed or something, but
You heard Ben refer to human beings as proboscis monkeys. And
It wasn't Ben. It was the narrator.
Ben's gonna call them that to their faces. Why do you look like that?
that was when Peach noticed something in the video. It was a shadow that looked eerily familiar. Was that Ben? It looked like him, but he had silvery white hair and was wearing red in place of green. He also had a giant paintbrush grasped firmly in his hand. Ben,
Where
that
you
shadow! Peach gasped. I know, Peach. Something tells me that my vacation has just ended up before it even started, Ben replied. Both our hero and the princess grew worried about what the shadow meant, but tried not to think about it. After all, nothing bad could possibly come out of this, right? You'd think that these guys would learn by now about asking questions like this. Anyways, I hope to get to some reviews for this chapter. The end.
I am very glad that Ben didn't get the flood.
You know they never go anywhere with these damn stories. And if they do, it's like 70,000 words.
I rate that story 0 words from Toadsworth out of 10.
I'm mad. I wanted to see where the story would go.
I wanted to see Ben do the triple jump.
He's written 200 stories.
Well,
I give that a very uncomfortable, morally ambiguous landing that never happened out of 10.
There's this Dragon Ball story he wrote called Albino 10.
that's the one I saw.
He can write 1,070,000 word crossovers, but he can't write one that finishes the dang Ben 10 Isle Delfino
Wait,
story.
Did you see that?
Oh, sorry. I
Well, I wanted to see the guy you had it on. I thought you still had it on his thing.
Just go back.
Oh.
Oh, wait. Yes. Oh, bleep that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the same guy that wrote mine.
Cool. He's out here pushing it.
He's getting the Ben 10 work.
I'm gonna... Can I kind of read the intro to another one?
Sure.
Steven, rate that story.
He did.
I did.
What'd you rate it?
I rated it a very uncomfortable and morally ambiguous landing that never happened out of 10.
Excellent.
What did you rate it?
I rated the unspoken extra large can of Pringles in Toadsworth's hand that he was eating out of, but he had to stick his entire arm into the can to get any Pringles out.
Like a kid using it as like a buster gun.
Yeah. Hey Tennyson, are you sure we're going in the right direction? I don't see any sign of the Grand Canyon anywhere, Kevin said impatiently. He turned his head towards the back seat only to find Ben snoring away. Once again, Kev, you made the mistake of having Ben read the road map, Gwen said as she took the map. Kevin groaned in annoyance. He hated it when his girlfriend was right. Uh-oh, I knew we should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque because now we're lost. Kevin felt like strangling Ben at that moment. Look, there's a town ahead. Let's stop there and ask for directions, Gwen said, hoping that they would keep her boyfriend from murdering her cousin. As they pulled into Springfield, Kevin's car suddenly ran out of gas and stopped.
Oh, this was one I was considering.
That's just
This
great.
is on the way to the Grand Canyon.
We're out of gas in a town we've never been to. What else can go wrong? Kevin shouted in frustration. Suddenly an orange station wagon pulled up, and out came Marge Simpson with her 2 kids, Bart and Lisa. Do you kids need a lift? Marge asked, seeing the 3 teens standing in the middle of the road.
Oh, Ben woke up.
He sure did. We'd love a ride, thanks, Ben said as he climbed in, following Gwen, Kevin, Bart, and Lisa. They're all in the back seat.
Oh my god.
Nobody sat up front.
They're afraid of her.
So, where are you from? Lisa asked as they drove back to the Simpsons' residence.
What? Why did you take me to our house? Just asked me if they needed a ride.
We're from a town called Bellwood. We were supposed to head to the Grand Canyon National Park, but thanks to Ben, we got lost and wound up here in Springfield. Then Kevin's car broke down. And we met you guys, Gwen said. I thought that was Kevin the whole time until at the end.
And And then Kevin's car broke down.
Yeah.
Kevin very sad about his car.
I called for a tow truck to have your car towed and for it to be brought to our house, Marge said as they pulled in the
I
driveway.
called to have your car impounded.
That's what I was thinking.
Homie, we're home, and we've got company. Homer walked into the room with a beer in his hand and was surprised to see Ben Tennyson and his friends in the house. Oh my God, Ben Tennyson in my house? Homer shouted.
Oh my god. I love your Homer.
Now we only have one guest room, so one of you is gonna have to either bunk with Bart or take the couch. I called dibs on the guest room, Kevin said as he bolted up the stairs. Kevin bolts upstairs.
That's right where it is.
This story is moving fast. It's supposed to be 6,000 words.
What could have happened?
Oh, you just wait. Oh, no, you don't, Kev. I call the guest room, Gwen said as she tackled her boyfriend in the hallway. Why don't you two share the guest room? I mean, you guys are dating after all, Ben said. Where are you going to stay, Ben?
On the couch.
Oh.
With Bart. In Bart's
He's
bed.
gonna go to the impound lawn, get Kevin's car, and leave him.
Gwen and Kevin seemed to agree on that. Later, everyone was eating dinner. So, what's it like fighting aliens and traveling all over the galaxy? Homer asked as they munched on a pork chop and then reached for his beer.
Got into a fucking Simpsons cartoon with you as Homer.
Your Homer is wonderful. It's so whimsical.
Who's talking? They don't tell who's talking until the end of like 3 sentences every time, so I have to read ahead.
I love it when the
Take a
Cartoon
drama class,
Network
we'll learn.
people come to our house, Marge.
It's pretty amazing what we do, Homer. We not only deal with alien criminals, we also deal with crooks who sell illegal alien tech on the black market, Ben said.
So the same thing, more or less.
I didn't fucking ask you to brag about your job.
After dinner, Gwen was helping Marge with the dishes while Ben and Kevin were watching TV with Homer.
Just
This is
sitting.
so funny.
Just the three of them sitting in that one like opening shot of them all on the couch.
All drinking a beer.
Ben and Kevin sitting, man spreading on the couch. With Homer on the corner.
With Bart and Lisa laying down watching TV. You kids can stay as long as you want if you pitch in around the house, Marge said.
Great! I'll grab my stuff.
We'll be happy to help around here, right guys? Gwen said as Ben and Kevin were whistling innocently. Hey,
What?
Finish it!
Don't leave us hanging.
It's such a short statement, it got me. Hey Kevin, want a beer?
Are the kids or not?
How old are you, Kevin? Never mind.
Homer asked as he tossed Kevin a can of Duff beer.
He didn't even let him answer. He just threw it out.
Thanks, Homer, Kevin asked as he cracked open the beer and drank the whole thing in one gulp.
Cracks it with one fucking hand and just downs it.
He chugged the whole thing.
Want a beer?
Ben face-palmed himself, knowing that Kevin acted like a wild beast whenever he got drunk.
Oh.
Feeling rather tipsy, Kevin stumbled into the kitchen and snaked his arms around Gwen's waist.
Oh no! I got one beer.
He's a featherweight.
He's a beast. Ben said it, he's a beast.
I don't like it. He was the one driving on this trip.
Hey there, gorgeous. How about a kiss? Gwen smiled and gently pushed her boyfriend off of her. How about you sober up and do something else about your beer breath first? Then if you're a good boy, we'll play later, she said with a seductive edge in her voice.
And one beer.
Marge chuckled, knowing that was how she would charm Homer.
This is making me really uncomfortable.
Ben overheard them and an evil grin crept on his face. He knew he would have to wait until the two lovebirds were too busy having sex to notice him.
They just, yeah,
Then
they
he would
submitted
swipe-
in front of
Hold
Marge that
on.
they're gonna have
Then he
sex
would
and then
swipe
guess-
Kevin's boxers, take a photo of the couple, and make a run for it. Ben knew the two lovers were going to be in for a rude awakening
Hold on.
tomorrow morning.
They just admitted in front of Marge they're gonna have sex in her guest room the day they met.
And Marge is just like, oh, wonderful.
Marge?
Yeah.
Marge knew that she would have charmed Homer the same way. She said
took
so.
one look at them and said, oh, shit. No! Put it back, George! Put it back!
Put back the Marge growl.
Yes!
Uh,
There you go.
here's chapter 2 as promised.
They
This one is a
definitely-
real gut buster.
Oh, I bet.
I'm excited. I'm glad we
Uh.
got into this one.
Early the next morning. You know what they call him? Kevin 11.
Your Marge just sounds sad.
I can't do the growl and talk at the same time.
Well, I let I can't believe you went. I can't believe you went and brought me these horny teenagers into our house, Marge.
Early the next morning, Ben quietly snuck out of Bart's room with a camera in his
He
hands.
was in Bart's room. How
Yeah.
old is Bart? Is he normal
10?
age? I mean, like, because they're clearly not normal age. Ben, Gwen, Kevin.
Are they? I mean, they're driving, so I guess they have to be older.
Yeah, I'm saying
Wait.
it's like Alien Force.
Yeah, Kevin had a car in Alien Force, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's adding up then. Why are there so much Alien Force Ben 10?
I guess that's the one that had like the most expanded universe.
When the audience for Ben 10 was watching it, they were too young to write fan fiction.
That's
But
fair.
when they were watching Alien Force, they were like 13 or older.
That's
There we go.
fair.
That's fair.
Quietly opening the door to the guest room, Ben saw Gwen laying on top of her boyfriend as the two were currently bathing in the afterglow of what had been a passionate bout of lovemaking. Ben grinned. Ben grinned evilly as he quietly snatched Kevin's boxers off of the floor by the waistband and snapped a picture with the camera. The flash from the camera startled the two lovers, and they saw Ben in the doorway holding a camera in his hands.
Ben, that's your sister.
Everyone else in the house was awoken by a loud scream from Gwen, followed by a, "Tennyson, I am gonna kill you!"
I don't remember Alien Force Ben being such a prankster, but I don't remember Kevin being a drinker either. So.
Oh, that was a roar from Kevin, I'm sorry. I guess
Yeah,
Kevin...
because Gwen's also a Tennyson.
So,
Yeah. Marge opened the door to her in Homer's bedroom to see Ben run by in his underwear with a pair of boxers in his hand being chased.
Kevin's got whiskey dick, doesn't he?
I thought Marge opened the door to their fucking room again.
Chased by an angry and currently naked Kevin.
It's just naked.
Tennyson, you give me my boxers back this instant, Kevin shouted.
He ran past Marge with his whiskey dick out.
I mean, he had pants he could have put on. He didn't have to...
No,
This middle class family.
they said naked.
This middle class family house is turning into a fucking mess.
You gotta catch me first, lover boy, Ben said teasingly. Marge facepalmed herself, then gasped in horror as the boys ran right through the front door, leaving a hole in it. This is gonna be a fine thing to explain to the police. They left a comical cartoon hole in the door.
No, she's gonna call the police.
Hours later, Chief Wiggum came to the house of...
You left them in your house. You heard them say this was gonna happen.
Hours later, Chief Wiggum came to the house with both the boys in handcuffs. Ben was still in his underwear, while poor Kevin had a towel wrapped around his waist. Mrs. Simpson, I had to arrest these two for public nudity, disturbing the peace, and was assaulting a police officer. Marge was not happy with the boys. I'll see to it that these two stay out of trouble from now on, Chief. After the cops left, both Ben and Kevin knew that they were in the doghouse.
She's not your real mom.
I like that she just assumed guardianship of these fucking strangers.
She's holding their car hostage.
All right, you two. I want an explanation from your misbehavior.
be very detailed about the first part.
They're old enough to drink, but not old enough to not get lectured.
Right.
Ben started it, Marge. I'm innocent on this one. Well, except for hitting the police chief, but he had that coming for tasing me. Well, until you
Kevin took a taser.
Kevin fucking absorbed the matter out of the taser and zapped him repeatedly.
Kevin hit Chief Wiggum.
He like tased him. He's like, ow, you fucking...
Knocked him off his feet. The one blow.
And he said, I'm sorry.
He wiggled, he wobbled, and he fell right the fuck down.
Well, until you two can act your age, I'm gonna have my sisters babysit you two and the kids this weekend. Ben and Kevin both knew that this weekend was gonna be a stay in hell for them. Suddenly,
You could leave!
their car is broken.
They're just out of gas! Flanders will just give them gas.
They don't know Flanders.
I'm sure they do in this Willy Wonka world.
Wonderful.
Suddenly the phone rang. Hello? Marge said as she answered it. Hey Marge, it's Patty. Selma and I won't be able to babysit this weekend. We're going to the Bahamas for a little tropical vacation. Marge groaned in annoyance as she hung up. Great! Now who am I gonna get to babysit you two troublemakers and the kids? How about dropping us off with Grandpa? I'm sure the boys will be bored by his rambling stories, Lisa said.
Abraham.
Saturday morning, Marge dropped everyone off at the retirement home. I cannot believe the places the story is going already. I'm having so much fun.
Go home, Ben!
These legal drinking age fucking...
They're not legal.
They're led by their hand by this fucking family they stumbled upon.
They're not legal. Homer just offered him a beer.
Kevin has been drunk before.
Being babysit by this man they've never met in their life. You'll love our grandpa.
This retirement home.
Ugh, I'm so bored. There's got to be something to do in this dump, Kevin said as he sat down in a retirement chair.
They're right there, Kevin. Come on. They don't want to be here any more than you do.
Why don't you read a book like I'm doing? Gwen said as she went back to her book.
Why is Gwen there? Does Gwen need a babysitter too?
Gwen, I'm on vacation. I'd rather listen to Mr. Simpson's stories than read a book. Ignore him, Gwen. He's just too chicken to admit he's illiterate, Ben said in a teasing voice.
God damn.
Tennyson, I know how to read. I just don't want to. Kevin said in an annoyed voice. If you're bored... what's Abe sound like? Hold on a sec.
Just the most generic, winded old man.
If you're bored, there's a TV set you can use, Abe said as he... That's like Mr. Krabs, I'm sorry. Hold on.
If you're bored, you can do anything you want.
If you're bored, you can... If you're bored, there's a TV set you can use, Abe said as he went back to snoozing in his chair. An hour later, Kevin was fast asleep on the couch while Ben and Bart decided to be funny and give him a new look, using Gwen's makeup kit. A few minutes later, Kevin got up and went to use the bathroom. Looking in the mirror, Kevin saw he had eyeshadow, lipstick, mascara, and blush on his face. He then noticed that someone had painted his nails pink. Kevin's face turned red, not only from embarrassment, but also anger since he knew who the culprits were. Hearing laughter behind him, Kevin turned and saw both Ben and Bart, laughing at him before snapping a photo of the angry teen. Things are about to get ugly here at the retirement home, that's for sure. Chapter 3.
Sounds like that's the reason you're there.
You have 10 minutes until your apartment goes into quiet time.
Sunday morning, Marge and Homer came to pick everyone up. Suddenly, they saw both Ben and Bart run by,
There overnight?
while being chased by an angry Kevin.
Can you do that?
No!
There's visiting hours.
When I get my hands on you two, that's not the only thing that's gonna be broken, Kevin shouted as he caught Ben and began to strangle him while Homer strangled Bart. Why, you little... I'll teach you to put makeup on another boy. After the police got involved, Marge was not happy with Ben and Bart. A second police incident in 2 days.
Why?
Chief Wiggum didn't want to go, but he had
It's
to.
such an escalation.
They're choking each other.
As punishment for their prank, Marge had them clean the whole house from top to bottom while wearing French maid outfits. Kevin found this quite funny and took a picture of Ben wearing his French maid outfit.
This is blackmail, Tennyson. Wait till I show this to Julie. She's gonna get a laugh out of this.
Ben was furious. You show that picture to Julie and I'll show Gwen's parents the picture of you two in bed together. Kevin felt his blood run cold. He knew that if Gwen's parents saw that photo of them in bed together, they would literally kill him. Fine, you win, Tennyson, Kevin said, admitting defeat. Later, as everyone was sitting down for dinner, there was a knock at the door. Marge answered it and saw his sister standing in the doorway.
Patty, Selma, come in.
Homer
to the Bahamas.
Homer spit out his beer, bolted out the back door, and drove off to Moe's. Why did Homer just bolt out the back door? Kevin asked as Marge came back into the dining
Oh, I
room.
thought that was you genuinely asking.
No,
Homer and my sisters don't get along too well.
Marge said as her sisters came into the room. Selma sat down next to Kevin and gave him a flirtatious grin. Homer, wait for me! Kevin shouted as he bolted out the door and drove off to Moe's as well.
So he does have his car?
Where's the conflict? Why are they here?
He may be
They're
low on
supposed to
gas,
be
but he
going
has
to
enough
the
to go to
gr-
Moe's.
He was out. His car broke down. Now he has gas. He can go to the Grand Canyon.
I better go after him before he gets drunk and starts a bar fight, Gwen said as she went after
Oh
her
my
boyfriend to make sure he didn't get into any trouble. After finding the place, Gwen walked into Moe's and saw Kevin and Homer sharing a few beers along with Homer's friend Lenny and Carl.
So they are legal age.
Gwen,
He
what
can
brings
go
you
to a
down
bar.
here? You don't drink, Kevin said.
What brings you here, woman?
Kevin said, surprised to see his girlfriend in a bar.
This is a man's zone. Leave.
Yeah, but I had to come down here to keep you two out of trouble, Gwen said as she sat down next to her boyfriend.
You too.
Man, Kevin, your girlfriend sure knows how to put you in your place.
You make him sound so stupid. Your girlfriend knows how to put you in your place.
Homer said as he chugged down another beer. I guess I'm gonna be the one designated driver for you guys, Gwen said as she took the Kevin's car keys from him. Kevin knew not to complain about Gwen driving him and Homer home, because with the alcohol in his system, Kevin would most likely crash his car into a tree. After getting back home, Homer walked in and was relieved to see Patty and Selma left.
Where have you two been? You three been? It's 1 a.m,
Marge said as she walked into the living room. Sorry we're late, Marge. We had to drop Homer's friends off first since they were too drunk to drive home themselves, Gwen said as she used her powers to help Kevin into the house. She, telekinesis moves Kevin into the house.
I'll go whip up some of the sobering medicine that I use on Homer when he's drunk.
Maybe that will get those two to sleep, Marge said as she went into the kitchen.
Sobering
To
medicine.
sleep? Since when does alcohol keep you up?
Marge said as she went into the kitchen. After Homer was fast asleep in bed, Gwen helped Kevin up the stairs and into the guest room.
What's the medicine?
Once there, she gave him the sobering medicine and soon he was sleeping like a baby. How do you deal with Homer when he's drunk? Gwen asked, and Marge into the living room.
That's a loaded question, honey.
Marge and Gwen are in the living room drinking tea.
There's a lot of history you're fixing to bring up, Gwen.
You should go back
Homer's
to the
pretty
Grand
easy to
Canyon.
deal with once he's sober, although he's quite romantic when he's drunk.
Gwen smiled, knowing the same could be said for Kevin. Soon, everyone was asleep and off to dreamland. The next morning, everyone was eating breakfast. How much time do I have? 5 minutes. The next morning, everyone was eating breakfast. Since it was summer vacation, Bart and Lisa didn't have to go to school. Homer, unfortunately, had to go to work. I can't believe I have to go to work while you kids get to stay home, Homer said in an unhappy voice.
Well, Well, while you working in the nuclear death trap, Lisa and I will be on this couch watching TV all day, Bart said in a gloating voice. Actually, Bart, I'll be having Patty and Selma come in and babysit you kids while I go run some errands. That was Marge, by the way, sorry. At the mention of Marge's sister, Kevin spit out his milk and was about to make a run for it when Gwen used her powers to stop him in his tracks.
He spit out his milk?
Hey Marge, why don't I babysit the kids for you? That'll keep Kevin from running off, Gwen said, knowing that Kevin was now afraid of Marge's sisters, especially Selma. Okay, make sure Bart and Lisa don't try to kill each other, and here's Maggie's care schedule. You kids behave for the babysitter now. Bye. What's Ben doing? Is Ben also a child who has to be babysit?
Sure.
Marge said as she left.
Depends on the Grand Canyon.
Ben left.
Okay, Maggie's taking her nap. Anyone want to play a game? Gwen asked as she came into the living room. How about truth or dare? Bart said. A few minutes later, everyone was settled down. Ben, truth or dare? Bart asked. I think I'll take dare. Bart smiled evilly. I dare you to kiss Gwen.
His cousin?
Both cousins had a horrified look on their face.
Oh no.
Sorry about this, Gwen, Ben said as he grabbed his cousin and kissed her roughly on the lips. Gwen pulled away and slapped her cousin.
Edit in the JonTron. Stop! Oh god.
Gwen pulled away and slapped her cousin really hard.
Where?
Ouch! Ben cried as Kevin laughed his head off.
Oh,
Kevin
it was
laughed.
Gwen. I thought it was Ben.
Okay, Gwen.
Ben kissed his cousin and
Just
slapped
slapped her on the ass.
Okay, Gwen. Truth or dare? Lisa asked. I'll take dare, Gwen
Why
said.
does Lisa get to ask? It's
I-
Ben's turn.
I dare you to give Ben a wedgie. Gwen grinned, walking up behind Ben and yanked him up by the waistband of his boxers.
This is negative horny stuff.
Ah! Ben screamed in agonizing pain. Nice boxers, Tennyson. I didn't know you were a fan of Cookie Monster, Kevin said while laughing. Furious, Ben picked a book up off the table and whacked Kevin on the head really hard with it. Ow! Why, you little... Kevin roared as he started strangling Ben.
Ow! Just ow!
Well, he's got like stone skin or whatever, but still.
I'm glad he managed to absorb matter that fast.
Guys, knock it off, Gwen shouted as she used her mana to pry the two idiots apart. After making sure that Ben and Kevin were playing nicely, Gwen went upstairs to check on Maggie. Okay, Maggie is still asleep. Now I want you guys to play nice until Marge comes home. Okay, we'll just watch TV, Bart said as he plopped down on the couch. I want to watch wrestling, Kevin shouted as he grabbed the remote. No way, dude. Itchy and Scratchy are doing a 6-hour marathon, Bart said as grabbing the remote from Kevin. Are you kidding? The football game's on, Ben shouted as he grabbed the remote from Bart. Before everyone could kill each other, Gwen used her powers to swipe the remote and turn the TV off. Hey, what did you do that for? They all three shouted. We'll all do that.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hey, what did you do that for? Since you three can't agree on what to watch, we're gonna go for a nice walk and hopefully you two don't kill each other this time, she said as she walked to get Maggie. A few minutes later, they walked to the Quickie Mart to get some squishies. As Bart and Lisa were buying their squishies, they saw Gwen dragging Kevin up to the counter by his ear. Ow, Gwen, come on, I said I was sorry. What did he do this time? Ben asked, knowing that whenever Gwen dragged her boyfriend by the ear, it was never a good sign. I caught him drooling over a girl in a bikini lying on the hood of a sports car in the Play Dude magazine. Ben facepalmed. Dude, no wonder Gwen's mad at you, he said. Kevin knew he was in the doghouse big time.
Isn't it the second time they've used that catchphrase?
Yeah. And that's the end of Chapter 4. Will Kevin apologize to Gwen for his bad behavior? Review and I will tell you in Chapter 5.
He
That's
will.
enough.
God damn.
Dude, that was good. I give that Kevin touching Bart Simpson and absorbing his yellow skin into his skin out of 10.
I rate that fully grown adults refusing to leave a parental unit's house.
When they have every method to do so.
I rate that Homer side-eyeing the underage teen and going, Hey Kevin, want a beer?
Oh my god. It's so funny.
That was good.
Ben 10 is so funny.
Indeed.
I'm glad we could do this episode.
It was very good. Now, next episode, what's it gonna be?
Oh, I actually had it. Hold on.
You forgot?
I had something saved for that reason.
Oh,
Cut this out.
okay, I'll cut this out.
I can't remember my original, so I'm gonna say Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, I don't want to Jimmy Neutron.
Planet Sheen. That's a fan fiction in itself.
Does Planet Sheen under the umbrella term of Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah.
Only if it includes both tags. And I'm sure it does.
By default.
In most cases.
Disgusting. You know that means we're gonna have to watch Planet Sheen.
Means we're gonna have to watch the Jimmy Neutron Period Parents crossover.
Jimmy
But-
Timmy Power Hour 3.
Only the second one.
Yeah, the second one with 3D Jorgen.
Yeah.
Good Lord. 2D Carl and Sheen.
Okay, I think that's it. Thanks everybody for tuning in to this episode 40 of Crossing the Line. We'll be back soon with some Jimmy Neutron stories.
Remember to tell your friends, rate and like this, and share it with everybody in the world. Peace.
Steven, say something nice. Promote yourself.
Let's see.
Do something businessy.
Next time on Blue the Cast Breed,
Next time on Blue the Cast Breed.
I will make a speed paint of Marge.
Will Bluebeard make a speed paint of Marge?
Next time, same
Tune in to find out.
same crossing time, same cast channel.
Change the channel.
Hashtag change the channel.